Okay, day 16 of my mental health walk and talk for June. My commitment to you to do it every day for the month of June. Hope you're not too bored yet. Like I said, I'm not attached to getting anything out of this. This is as much for me as it is for you. I'm just really enjoying doing these. Okay, so last night I gave you an update on my dad. He's had a bit of a slow day today because yesterday was a long day. It kind of took it out of him. But tonight I want to get into the topic, the subject, and that is talking about how the old you has to die. Bit of a psychology one. You see, everyone talks about they want to change, they want to lose weight, they want to get fit. No. They want to get fit, they want to improve their life, etc., etc. And they think that they'll just get up on a Monday, because we always start something on a Monday, right? We'll get up on that Monday. That's it. New us, new habits, new identity. It doesn't work like that. It really doesn't work like that. One of the things I always ask clients initially is, what about their environment? Where do they work? Are their loved ones on board with what they want to achieve? You know, what are their triggers? Because as a coach, I can set you your steps. I can set your calories. I can set your protein. I can set your training. That's easy. You can go to ChatGPT for that now. But it's like, I've had people pay me lots of money and just to go, right, okay. And then they just don't do it. And that's because we are emotive, right? We're not robots like AI. We don't just execute. And so this is why the psychology is just so important when you want to change, because the old you has to die. And that is not done overnight. It's not done overnight. It can take months, years. It's a lifelong battle. I always say this to clients, like the minute you think that you've got it done, that I've got to get rid of this quiff, man. What is going on there? Just want it down. So the minute you think that you've got it licked, that's it. I've got this nailed. Don't ever take your eye off the ball when it comes to your health and fitness. It's a lifelong commitment. And the sooner you can just say, this is what I'm a healthy person. This is what a healthy person does. Not like, oh, I'm going to start after the bank holiday, or I'll wait till then, or this after this, and it just don't work. And I know, because listen, 20 years of coaching and a lifetime of struggling with my own weight, working on myself daily, and it's hard, mate. It's hard. And even though I think I've got it pretty licked at the minute, I daren't take my eye off the ball, because it's just a lifelong commitment. And I've forged this identity, and that's what I want with you guys. You've got to forge that identity, and the old you has to die. That what does that mean? Well, that you that fucking drinks all weekend and then just tells yourself, oh, it's fine, because I'll be good in the week and I'll lose weight. Your weekends are killing you, man. Your weekend behaviors are killing you. How do I was that guy, mate. I was that guy. Oh yeah, I can get away with it because like Monday to Friday I'll just go hard. And no, boozing all weekend doesn't help you at all, mate. I said it, and I like a pint. I think I've clarified that. Midweek takeaways because you can't be arsed. You know, like regular. I'm not talking about now and again. I'm talking regular. Oh, like doing your stones on Just Eat. 3, 4. I don't know how many times. I don't fucking know. But you know the vibe, right? Like constantly going, nah, I'm going to sack off the gym. Because it's been a long day. That old you has to die. Like, you've got to be prepared to really transform yourself from the inside out. And that only comes from doing the work, okay? It's not just going to come from you sat there on a Sunday night full of remorse, full of guilt, and going, right, no, that's it. I'm going to get up on, because motivation will get you started, mate. But it's going to be habits, systems, discipline. I know I talk about this all the time because I'm trying to brainwash you. That's gonna keep you going. Now, you might be happy with your current self and your habits. Crack on, skip this video, you don't need it. But if you sat there, you know, when you're 20, 30, 40 pounds overweight, you're sick of it, you know, got to do something, got to do it. You just can't get going. Well, you're gonna have to do that you's got to die. And maybe that person wants to die because I don't mean as in you want to top yourself. I mean, you want that identity to die because you're just so sick of how you're feeling, How you showing up? Snappy with your kids, blah, blah, blah. Listen, most trainers, a lot of PTs have never been overweight. They've never struggled in their life. Me, on the contrary, I know how it is. I've struggled. I've never been like a super lean PT till now. And I've struggled. Man, I've struggled. And it's painful. And the internal dialogue and the, you know, not wanting to go to social occasions or public things because you're worried about people going to judge you based on your own poor perception of yourself. You refuse to go places where, you know, you might have had a nice time if you were in good nick and you felt good about yourself, but you refuse to go to these places because you know, you're already judging how it's going to go based on your lack of self-worth from your own poor internal dialogue. And it's horrible. It really is. It's just absolutely brutal living that life, feeling like crap. And it's just, it doesn't leave you. It doesn't leave you. But the great thing is that you can change. You can change that internal dialogue, but that's not going to happen overnight. That's going to come through just taking the action, like literally starting, like feeling like shit, but going, I'm going to start. I'm literally going to start now because I'm sick of it, you know, and going out and hitting those steps and, you know, drinking your water, even though you feel like shit, even like, you know, those things are going to be good for you, but you're just stuck in such a cycle of laziness that you don't then. I've seen it, man. It's like people pay me money and I'm like, you're doing less than 5,000 steps a day. Oh yeah, but the weather. Oh yeah, I know I should drink more. Like, why don't you do that? Do you want to feel good, or like, are you really like not want to feel good? I mean, it's such a, I can't get my head around it. But that's the you that's got to die, mate. Because you're not going to get the result that you want with your current identity. And again, you might think you can't change, right? You can change, because look at your life now, maybe compared to 15, 20 years ago. I bet it's different. You got more responsibility. Maybe you're not getting pissed up every weekend because you've got kids and you've got careers and you've got run them around to sports and activities, and maybe you don't want to show up feeling like that. Maybe you do. Maybe you do. Maybe you still live that lifestyle. It's going to catch up with you, but that's none of my business. But you can change. If you look back, you know, I used to be a nightclub promoter. I was a raver. I was going out every weekend. Well, I don't do that anymore. And say, well, yeah, that's just because you're older. It doesn't matter about age. I've changed. It doesn't matter one thing about age, because there's still people going out bashing it now at my age. You know, I just don't associate with them. So you can change. Do you know what I mean? Like you might have been in a past life, or when you live with friends, or in a previous relationship where a certain night is a takeaway night and it's like a bottle of wine or whatever that is, but you don't do that anymore. That's change. So you can change, and you've got to start by being open to the fact that you can change and you have the power to change. I always like to say, you know, the power of choice is yours. That's so liberating. Not saying it's going to be easy, but the power of choice is yours. Like after a long day at your laptop, you're feeling tired, rather than just going home and slumping on the sofa, actually forcing yourself to get out for a walk, and then realizing 10, 15 minutes into that walk, actually, oh man, this is giving me some energy. I'm actually feeling all right. You know, this is easy. I'm not even having to run. Correct. It doesn't happen overnight. You know, if you're in a rut now, it's gonna take a lot to pull you out of that rut. You got to really want to get out of it. Some people don't. That's fine. Skip this video. Like, some people genuinely, they probably find it easier to stay in the bins than to get out of the bins. You know, it's not nice in the bins. It fucking stinks. But it's comfortable there, you know. You get yourself comfy. You put a peg over your nose and just pretend it didn't smell. Just sat there in shit, gone off fucking microwave food that's been chucked and discarded. But you've kind of got yourself comfy in there. It's not pleasant, but it's somewhere to get your head down. Or, you know, you can start to climb out of that bin. You can get off your arse Get 2 hands on the side, sort of lift yourself out. Oh yeah, but that bin, I know it stinks, but it's comfortable. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I slept all right there last night. Smelt when I woke up. I felt like shit, but it's actually all right in that bin. I'll stay another few days in the bin. You're just in the bins, mate. You're comfortable in the bins. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I remember reading a quote. It's like, you can stay in a comfortable hell. So you're in hell. What do I mean by that? And I'll tell you from my own personal experience, right? I've been 97 kilos. That's not a good look when you don't have big legs. I've always struggled with my legs. Bigger now. Still got work on the calves. But 97 kilos for me was hell. Bins, like bins. And I was actually 97 kilos as a personal trainer after my kids were born because I was self-sabotaging, I was tired, I was exhausted. And I was in the bins. And it was horrible. I'd drive to work with imposter syndrome. I'd be growing a business, telling myself I was a fraud. It was horrible. Look, I'm just being vulnerable, you know, right? It was horrible. And I felt so far gone that I had to get CBT therapy, which gave me a whole different perspective. And I've spoken about that before. That's for another video. But I remember saying to myself, when my kids sleep through, I'm going to make the comeback stronger. Because I never forget, I used to do half marathons all the time before the kids were born. Tough Mudders, all that. And then when they were born, because they were born so close, 16 months apart, I used to get to the night before an event. And I just knew I couldn't do it. I was so tired. I just when I'm going to sleep, and I'd pull out of an event. And the lads used to have a little joke in the boot camp group saying, oh, don't bother signing up for this event because Tregsy will pull out last minute. And it hurt, man. It was painful. But I used it as a bit of fuel. Like, right, when my kids sleep through, I'm going to make the comeback stronger. And that's what I did. You know, 2017, they started to sleep through and I started to get back into my events, my running, started to do the kettlebell workouts and make the comeback stronger. But my weight still went up and down because you can take your eye off the ball. And, you know, it's lifelong learned behaviours that will follow you around. And like the last couple of years, you know, hands up, I've really excelled because my environment is different. I'm in my new home. When the boys aren't with me, when they're with their mum, I got no temptations in the house, no bits or bobs. When they're with me, it's more tricky. And you'll fight, you know, you stood at the fridge going, oh, there's a couple of little dairy milks in there. You know, we got some little lollies in the fridge and all that jazz. It's about as bad as it gets. But you still, you know, I'll have a fight with the fridge most nights. I'll stand there, I've hit my calories, I've hit my protein, I open the fridge. It's 9:47 and I'm like, you've had a good day here, Tregs. You've had a good day here, Tregs. You like push pull on that fridge door. You're like, you can go to bed now. Go to bed. Get into bed. Wake up. Leaner. If you start with one little Cadbury's Dairy Milk, next thing you know, the bagel's going to be out. A lot of the time I win the battle. Sometimes I don't. You know, it's like that scene in Pulp Fiction, isn't it? When Uma Thurman is coming on to John Travolta and he's in the toilet. He's looking at himself in the mirror, goes, go home, jerk off. Go home, jerk off. Do you know what I mean? Go upstairs. No, don't do that. That's rude. But it's like basically, you know, do you dive in the fridge and regret it? You know? Or do you go to bed, have a pot noodle and a wank? That was just some David Brent there for you. Couldn't resist. But it's a battle, but my environment is improved. I don't have any people in my business that bring me down, don't align with my values, which could then trigger me and make me turn to shit food, beer, alcohol. My gosh, I've had some absolute plums around me over the years, which has driven me to that, but I don't have that anymore. My environment is very clean now, and that helps. Like, don't get it twisted. James Clear says, your environment is a hidden hand that shapes human behavior. You might talk a good game, you might be like, yeah, I'm going to change, but then work is not conducive to your goals. Nobody gives a shit about their weight there. They're bringing in crap food home. You know, your missus or your partner, boyfriend might be going, oh, you're boring. What is healthy eating? Boring. And that's hard. I've seen it. Been doing it 2 decades. I've seen partners try and sabotage their other partner's progress, not because they don't care about them or love them, it's because they're worried about the partner excelling because they're insecure and they're not making changes themselves. So it's tricky. But if you really want it, you really want to change, I want you to understand this is a lifelong process. You can never take your eye off the ball and go, oh, I'm going to do this for 90 days and then what? You go back to fucking, what, like your previous behaviours? No. No. Oh yeah, but in 90 days, what in 90 days? Create a new identity in 90 days. So when you've hit your 90 days and you've lost your 2 stone or whatever it is, you're now a new person. Let me ask you this, right? Let me tell you this before I sign off, okay? Have you ever run a half marathon or a 10K event or something like that you signed up to on a whim because you wanted some accountability or something like that, or you're doing something for charity? You ran the event and then those trainers went under the stairs. You almost forgot about the event. And then on your Facebook memories, a year later, you got a little reminder that you did a Tough Mudder or a half marathon. I bet there's some people nodding along there, right? What'd you just stop for? James Clear says in Atomic Habits, become the runner. Now, I'm not saying you'll take up running, but you've become the healthy person. You don't just do something for 90 days and it's painful and it's brutal. You probably wouldn't be able to execute something really restrictive for 90 days. And then you go back to your old habits. No, you forge the new identity. The old you dies on the way. Why? Because actually, if you commit to something for a decent period of time, you don't want to go back to being that old version of yourself. You realize that old version of yourself was miserable. You knew you were miserable, but you didn't realize how miserable, because now, 90 days on, 2 stone lighter, you're walking better, you're talking better, you're attracting better, you're calmer, you're more productive at work. You've got the confidence to sign up for an event. You've got the confidence to go for that promotion. You've created a new identity. You never want to go back to feeling like a dug up, gone off, punched, microwaved lasagna. You don't want it. You don't want it because you've got the feeling now of what feeling good feels like. Now, a lot of you might be watching this video going, oh yeah, but you've forgotten what it like to feel good. You've forgotten what it feels like to feel good because you've been treating yourself like a dustbin. You're in the bins. You're in the fucking bins, mate. And you're actually, it's horrible. You're in the bins. Be comfortable there. You're in a comfortable hell. And then what you got to do is you got to climb out and you got to get now on the road to a unfamiliar heaven. On the other side of that unfamiliarity is the heaven of feeling great, the heaven of feeling aligned, the heaven of actually realizing that, wow, I feel good. And that's it, guys, some musings for you. The practical stuff is the practical stuff, but if you don't underpin it with the mindset stuff, you're always going to be struggling to get out of those bins. All said with love. Have a great evening.